Singing in Under the Shadow is really an awesome experience. Never before have I been exposed and been performing with professional musicians of such a high caliber. So it was really awesome to be able to be in rehearsal with them and then having the 2 performances with them as well.
Mrs. Stewart is just such an amazing director and is such an amazing Christian and is very inspiring for all of us to work under, and it's been awesome to work with her, to see how God is not only working through us as a whole, but working through her to us as individuals.
I think it was great for them to see myself, Dr. Denham, Mr. St. Clair, the players, the soloist collaborate together, share ideas, exchange ideas, and encourage one another. So I think that helped them just seeing how that all works, And I think it was incredible for them to work with Mr. St. Clair and be able to see what a conductor of that level, how he operates, who he is, to see his real person, to see his and his professional persona, what he expects of his players and of his singers. It was really powerful to them. I think it made a long-lasting impact on them.
One has to be a motivator, has to be one to discover things, has to be one open to flexibility of ideas, changing of minds. I mean, this is not a set process. And I think even Robert would admit that he's learning this piece in a different way because it's being realized. It's like a small child being born. I mean, you don't just, a child is born and you already passing judgment. I mean, oh, well. No, you have to learn to live with it. And as life goes on and as you share the joys of living and the graces of God, then all of a sudden you begin to understand this piece. And as we've gotten to know the piece, we've grown closer to it. He's gotten a different opinion of this very same piece. And actually, Robert has a more difficult job because he has to be letting go. And we have to be accepting. In other words, this has been his child and his sort of baby, if you will, and now he has to give it to other people. Conductors, soloists, choruses, other conductors, chorus master, Mrs. Stewart. And so all of a sudden, I told the orchestra and chorus tonight, I said, at some point he's going to have to be able to let this child go and let it become ours. And that's difficult. It's like any parent will tell you. That's a difficult moment to do that.
In the summer of 2011, it became evident towards the end of that summer that we were going to be working with Pacific Symphony, with Carl St. Clair, and that this was going to be something more than just a small-time thing on the Biola campus that a few people came to. It was going to be much more of a public event. So it was something that was a lot more important to the university, and the pressure was on. I can really see that. I'm going to relate it to being an iceberg. Most of my work was done in a small room by myself without anybody else. Towards the end, once we got about 2 months out, I started connecting with more and more people because then the score was done and I started connecting with Carl St. Clair, started connecting with Shauna Stewart, director of the chorale, was working with Brian Peterson, putting the video together and just thinking of technology needs and such. And at that point I started really networking with a lot of people and it became a collaborative effort. So in that last 2 months I was just amazed to see how my own work or my own hand in the work, I should say, diminished greatly and other people took the reins from there and made the piece happen. That was really exciting to see because, to be truthful, I was exhausted by that point. I had poured so much of myself into the score, I didn't have a lot left to give, so it was neat to then have other people come and lend their energy to the project.
I get a great sense that he trusts us, that he trusts his colleagues, and Susan and Tyler, and of course the chorale is doing such a beautiful job, and our musicians take, giving life and premieres to new works incredibly seriously because, this is, after all, going to shape people's understanding and appreciation of Robert's hard-earned and well-deserved work.
Having Carl St. Clair come here to Biola was really just an awesome experience. He brought so much life and such a new vision that just we hadn't been exposed to.
We are all finding it very easy to work with him. He's very aware of the entire project, not just the instrumentalist or not just one aspect, but I've never worked with a conductor who has that more holistic view. And so if he notices imbalances, he brings it up and he fixes them.
He brought new ideas to life and just showed us how to approach music in a different way that I hadn't seen before.
Well, to be honest, I've never produced a play. I've never produced an opera. I've never acted in that role. I've always been the composer who then goes and rehearses with one ensemble, and we get it right after a number of rehearsals, and then we do our performance, and then we're done. But in this case, I'm having to be more of a producer where, yes, I did write the music, but I'm not rehearsing with just one ensemble yet. In fact, I won't be able to rehearse with the Pacific Symphony until about 7 days before the performance. And I won't be able to rehearse with everybody at one time, that is the orchestra and the choir and the soloists, until 2 days before the performance. That is my first look at what the whole thing looks like. But that's how it's done.